this is Drill with Quantum Light Consciousness. Today I want to talk about how the family of light is service to self, self-centered, for themselves. Okay. This is a topic that I'm going to say that hasn't been covered yet, only because light beings out there, the family of light, light workers, empaths, everybody awakening right now in the collective on the planet Earth is all about light and love, which I'm about. Yes, I'm a light being, I'm a light worker. Yes, I'm for the positive change of humanity. I'm for the collective shift of awakening for every person to stand in their divine and sovereign right and wake up and stand in their truth and be who they are and resonate with that deepest soul aspect of themselves. I just wanted to cover some things that aren't talked about in these aspects of awakening. It is a very tough class to be in. It is a collegiate class of souls that we're all here bumping into each other, reflecting off of each other, and interacting with each other day in, day out, with all of our aspects of self, all of our emotions, all of our egoic thought forms and whatnot. All of these things are part of the test, and there's things that the family of light, that our higher selves, that our light beings in higher dimensions as higher aspects of ourselves will not tell us. Alright, so I'm going to record this video and tell you guys what I found out. Alright, some things that are part of the rule book that it's obvious how they are letting us make our own experience based off of their own rule set, and just wanted to tune you guys in on what's actually happening. Okay, things happen when you see yourself in this state of enlightenment, and you can read energy, you can see the context of the deeper intentions and motivations of what's going on the globe, on the galactic level, as far as multidimensionally and physically. And when you're in a live data stream of consciousness with your higher self day in, day out, you can actually have these conversations and speak candidly with your soul council. It's just obvious. It's become obvious to me. It's like, we're expected to, put our best face on every day, smile, just really just lift everybody up, which is what we're supposed to do, which is what I do. I do my best. However, there's some things that they don't really explain of how we're supposed to handle, like how you're supposed to handle a person who's totally unaware that they're controlled, like mentally and emotionally. Like they actually have hooks on, linking into their brain, linking through the aura, through their physical body, and the person's walking around thinking they're this gifted person, and or they're walking around thinking that they're this greatest thing to ever happen, and they can't see anything greater than themselves. Okay, this is in any aspect of awareness. This can be just a 3D person. This can be a person who's awakening. This can be a person who thinks that they're totally awake. All right, ego is ego. Okay, it's like, how do you deal with these people? All right, and it comes down to, it's like, the family of light, they only care about themselves, because they're not going to get involved unless it directly affects themselves. They'll allow you to deal with these types of people. They will allow you to deal with these types of people and handle it how you're going to handle it, regardless of how it ends up playing out. Because these people who you have to deal with every day, they may be family members, they may be friends, they may be colleagues or associates. They're totally not in control of their own thoughts and emotions, and they don't really understand how or why. All right, it's like people, they're talking about vaccines. They're talking about this race war movement with Black Lives Matter. They're talking about things going on with the government, and they actually think this president is actually a real president when it's not. So if you fall up the stairs to Air Force One 3 times in a row, there's something wrong with you. It's and you're a demented pedophile caught on camera. It's no, and these people believe this stuff, and you have to deal with these people who actually have these belief systems, and then your higher selves are looking down at you dealing with these people. They're like, figure it out. Yet, if your higher selves refuse to materialize, it's obvious that, they're not going to get involved unless it directly affects them, which is why the only time they actually have gotten involved recently was when nuclear war was started in World War II. All right, that's when the forces of light actually got involved, because when you set nukes off, that actually creates a dimensional rip, and that dimensional rip will go up, and their actual livelihood was threatened. Okay, so they are service to self. It just happens that their service to self is service to all in unconditional love. Okay, that's what I mean. I don't mean service to self as they only care about themselves on some like fake, greedy type malicious deal. Okay, they're actually for the all in unconditional love. However, they love you so much that they'll let you go through your own trials and solve your own problems for what it will make of you. Yet, if they refuse to materialize in front of you, there's only so much there's only so much I'm going to listen to them to be like, oh, you should be light and love all the time. Oh, you should always forgive no matter what. Yes, however, you forgive them. However, it doesn't mean you have to smile on the person's face after you forgive them. You don't have to allow them in your life. You don't have to allow them to say whatever they want to you. You don't have to be a doormat. So this reminds me of the story of Jesus when he was sacrificed to the whim of the people around him, all right, of which could not control themselves. They couldn't control their thoughts. They couldn't control how they were controlled. They couldn't control their emotions or anything about themselves, of why they hated this person who was omnipowerful. Okay, because when you step into your power, you realize that we are all a Christ at the center, at the core. We all carry that signature of that Christed energy body, that golden light of ascension. And when you begin to embody that as your inner child, as the core version of your energy body, you begin to see through these things. You begin to see through the lies. Okay, and you realize that you have your own free will. You have your own free will to allow people to either treat you how you want to be treated, or be treated how people want you to be treated by them. Okay, which is what Jesus did. He didn't fight back. He allowed all this stuff to happen to him. He allowed himself to get guilted, persecuted, crucified, and then killed over for so-called the love of the people, because they didn't know what they were doing. That's what he'll say if you talk to him. He said, oh, well, they didn't know what they were doing. If I were to fight back, I would just start to cause an even larger conflict. However, he could have left, all right? He could have created his own kingdom and actually brought his disciples with him. There's things that are possible for light beings to do, especially if there's more than one of them who understand their own true power, okay? So what I'm saying here is that Jesus actually had the all-encompassing power to destroy any person who laid hand on him. He could actually just eviscerate them if he actually wanted to. All right, not saying that he would. Not saying that he ever would even think about that. What I'm saying is that he had the power to defend himself, and he chose to be a martyr. He chose to be executed. He chose to be sacrificed. He chose to be killed, instead of defending himself. So that's how the story goes. I didn't make this up, okay? So, at least for me, I'm not here to be destroyed. I'm not here to be persecuted. I'm not here to be guilted. I'm not here to be blamed. I'm not here to be put on trial for anything I didn't do, or I'm not here to actually have anything put into my body that is not mine. I'm not here to be fear controlled or controlled at all under any means necessary. Okay, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it's going to be. Okay, that's really just the way I feel. That's the way that a lot of people feel. I just want to speak my voice, because there's a lot of people out there who think the same things. Why are our higher selves up in the sky all the time and not appearing while the world's going haywire, the world's on fire? It's like it's obvious. They don't really get involved unless it directly has to do directly with them, which means they are in a certain aspect of self-interest, of service to self. It just happens to be that their service to self is the service to all, which is totally fine, because it's in unconditional love, and that is everything, because everything actually comes from that source energy of unconditional love. So it all works out. It just happens to all work out. So, I mean, when you have this understanding, it gives you so much more freedom, so much more like free will, and like clarity for processing these like confusing situations of the world. You are not here to be treated like a sacrifice. Although we do have to work pretty much for corporations. We have to work slave wage jobs unless we start our own companies. Then, it's like, well, you're choosing your own slavery still. It's like, either way, you have to use this promissory note. You have to use this promissory note to pay your bills, to do the things that you have to do to get to where you want to go in day-to-day life. However, the things that are important is that you realize that you're allowed to set boundaries, whether you're working your job, whether you're working your business, whether you're dealing with people in everyday life, family members, friends, colleagues, associates. They are not allowed to force or project their belief systems upon you, okay? Say you work at a place where vaccinations are eminent in the workplace belief system, and people are, say you work at a hospital, and the people at the hospital are saying, oh, you're part of the problem. Oh, you're doing this, you're doing that. Like, it really depends who you are as a person. It depends what type of values that you actually hold in yourself, that you're actually going to stick to and adhere to. And by your free will, you either fight back or you will be taken over by osmosis, by this control system that these people think is actually true, which is not. It's just a parasitic, dark etheric net structure set up to feed off others lower than it, like a parasite. Exactly what it is. All right. The main thing I want to get to is it's okay to say no to people. It's okay to say, no, I don't believe that. No, I don't adhere to these regulations. Yes, I respect you. No, I don't see myself moving forward as that orientation type of person. Okay? It's okay to say no to the little people who haven't done any work on themselves. And you don't even have to explain yourself. You say, no, I don't believe that. No, I don't want to go here. I don't want to interact with you. Every single person that you're involved with in your life, whether it's a family member, a spouse, a friend, a co-worker, an associate, they all have free will to be controlled or be in control of their thoughts, emotions, and actions, okay? Just like the people who murdered Jesus. They had the thought forms, the awareness, the energy and emotions to be in control of themselves and not be brainwashed by what the Pharisees were telling them, all right? And they chose not to. And it's the same thing today. Not that you're Jesus or that we're going to be executed or you're on trial for something that you didn't do. What is rational for you to understand is that people will try to forward their belief systems when they're obviously unconscious and they have no idea how to read frequency. Because if they could read energy and where the context of these fake belief systems and fake levels of dissonance and sickness and misinformation were coming from, they wouldn't be projecting them onto somebody else. All right? And you don't have to feel bad for saying no to that. You don't have to feel bad for saying no to somebody else's misinterpretation of you. You don't have to feel bad for saying no or blocking somebody out your phone who is a family member. You don't have to say no or feel bad about being your own person and being okay with being alone and being okay with taking some time to get out in nature and connect with yourself. All right? It's all right to be yourself. It's okay to find a different tribe. It's okay to want to actually be conscious and coherent of the thoughts and emotions that go through your brain. All right? These are the things that are actually most important to a starseed right now on this earth. Okay? Awakening, being conscious to yourself and knowing who you are. So it brings it back to your higher self. Your higher self is just watching all this stuff happen. Your higher self is just saying, oh, well, let them figure it out. They'll figure it out eventually. Why? Because they're me, And that's the type of logic that they will adhere to because they've seen it happen multiple times. However, there's free will, and you can see their free will, and you can use their free will as you have your own here, just as though they will not jump in front of you in a physical vessel. They will not manifest themselves in a physical vessel. So you're free to protect yourself until that happens. Granted, it probably won't happen until you pass on. So you're free to protect your values yourself. You don't have to be this type of person that everybody thinks that you should be because, oh, you're holding the light. Oh, you're this light being that has all this knowledge and has all this empathy and is activated to a certain level and is this starseed teacher, healer, guide, so and so. It's like you don't have to be like chastised and afraid and like fearful and apprehensive of what you're gonna like see the next day, or what the world has next. Like, oh my gosh, like where they come up next? These damn Democrats, these freaking government institutions, like whatever they come up with, they literally don't have the right to do that. Okay, even if other countries where they're getting away with it, okay, there's only so far they can go. All right, when you have a conscious collective that actually works together, that is waking up more and more each day, that they actually will not be able to stand consciously in the face of that. With all the weapons, with all the power that they have, their timeline is up for that. All right, the worst thing that could possibly happen is like a Holocaust. All right, and that's not even in the play of cards anymore, because since 2012, that timeline has shifted into not possible. It's completely impossible. All right. Only because COVID was actually supposed to be the Holocaust. They were actually supposed to scare people into this pandemic. They're supposed to get people vaccinated. They're supposed to take people's guns away, as they do with the false flags. And, just like with this last shooting, they're still trying to do it, but it's never going to work. And then they're supposed to herd people into FEMA camps because of safety. And then FEMA camps, if you know, that's pretty much the ground zero for execution. All right, so we're not here for that. We're not here to be controlled and manipulated and herded into fear like cattle. We're here to rise. We're here to stand up for ourselves. We're here to speak our truth. We're here to live our truth. All right, at least that's what I'm about. Okay, so don't let your higher self say, oh, it's all love and light all the time. Oh, you should always wear an awesome face every day. Like, yes, that's true, the best you can do it, yet don't let anybody in your soul stream say, oh, you shouldn't be mad. Oh, you shouldn't be sad. Oh, you shouldn't be feeling this. Oh, you shouldn't be feeling that. Don't let them treat you like you're some type of dog. All right, which is kind of like what they look at. They look at us as little versions of themselves, and sometimes the shadow aspects of yourself can get a little bit carried away and kind of, tell you, oh, you shouldn't be feeling this. Like, oh, don't be mad. Oh, why don't you do this? You should be doing that, or so and so. You should be feeling this instead of that. Like no, that doesn't even make any sense remotely. Okay, so just always stay in your heart. Feel who you are from the core resonance of your soul. All right, feel your emotions for the genuine feelings that they are, and believe in yourself. Believe in who you are. All right, because that's the only person who can do that for you. All right, when you speak your truth, when you feel your truth, when you resonate in that truth, and most importantly, when you continue to perpetuate that resonance, that's when the collective change is made. That's when the shift actually starts to happen on a co-creative level. You actually have to hold your light and be your light and be comfortable in who you are, because that's what's most important. Okay, I love you. If you guys would like a session, I do sessions at quantumlight.org. I do intuitive reading, coaching, healing, and numerology reading. I actually have a t-shirt line I just released called Empath League at empathgear.com. Free shipping on all international orders over $40 or more, and 10% off your first purchase. All right, check that out. Peace, love. I'll talk to you soon.